Hey teachers, the end of the school year is here, and I've got some realistic do's and don'ts to help you to make it through to the finish line. Listen, you wouldn't run a marathon and then choose to just stop the last 2 miles to walk, chat with your friends, or take a huge break. No, you would push through and finish that race strong. And your school year is the same exact way. You've worked so hard all year long. Don't let the last 9, 6, or 4 weeks hinder you from finishing strong. Keep up with what you've been doing and use my realistic tips to help you to make that end of the school year the best one ever. Happy teaching! One way to ensure that you're having a successful end of the school year is to keep grading. Yes, do keep grading. Keep up with your grading system that you've implemented the entire school year. Make sure you're acknowledging papers. You're grading at least 3 assignments every single week and putting them into that grade book on time. Make sure that you are keeping up with the grading, returning papers to students, and letting them know that their work still matters, even though it's the end of the school year. If you need some help regarding grading and your systems, please check out my blog post on teachingintherealworld.com. I have a realistic approach to grading, no papers going home. All right, if you are grading, then you want to make sure that you're also still updating data folders. Keep updating those data folders until the very last week of school. Don't stop. That way students know that their data is still important and you're still going to record it. We're still going to reflect upon it, and it still matters in the classroom. Keeping up with your grading and data are a definite do and will keep your students focused on their grades. If you care about their grades, they will too. Let's talk about our first don't. Don't tell your students when the grades close. For some of us, grades can close up to 2 weeks before the end of the school year. Don't tell your students that the grades are closed. You will let your students know about when missing assignments are due, when late assignments can be turned in, when absent work can be turned in, and a deadline for that. I typically suggest 2 days before your grades close so that you have time to grade those assignments. Make sure you're communicating this with parents, giving a countdown to students, and letting them know when these assignments need to be turned in. Don't use the word grades closed, because then students' minds are going to close and they will not want to do any work for you those last couple of weeks. Be sure that you're giving them updates on what their grade is, where they stand, and reminding them of due dates. Make sure that you're sending home username and passwords to get onto the online grading portal so that they can easily check their grades often. Be very communicative, but don't let them know when those grades are closing. You want them to keep working. Oftentimes, I give a quiz on the last week of school. We still put it into our data folders. That data is going with them and can be used over the summer or even next year by their teacher. Keep grading and keep students working. You can do this. The next suggestion might seem a little bit obvious, but you do want to keep up with your routine. Want to keep everything as routine as possible. If your students copy down their homework in the agenda for the entire week every Monday, then you want to keep doing that up until the last week of school. You want to keep these routines in place. When students see that the routines are in place, then they understand what behavior is expected from them. So do keep your routines going. Don't abandon them. Keep it going until that very last week of school. By the end of the school year, your class has likely gotten very comfortable with each other. And with comfort comes chattiness. So my next do for the end of the school year is do make a new seating chart. This is your opportunity to move students around, to place students strategically so that they are able to manage their own behaviors for the remainder of the school year. Make sure that you're being very strategic in changing up this seating chart at the end of the school year. It is a definite do to change where a student sits and will help them to manage their behaviors and will help you to keep your sanity. On the flip side of that, a definite don't for the end of the school year is don't rearrange your classroom. What I mean by this is don't change the layout of your classroom. The reason why I don't suggest changing the layout of your classroom is because oftentimes if we change the layout of our classroom, our students think that they can change their behaviors. They view this shift as giving them freedom to do what they would like to do. And while of course you want your students to have fun and have freedom in your classroom, you also want to be able to keep those behaviors under wraps for the last bit of the school year. Do make a new seating chart. Don't change the layout of your classroom. The end of the school year is a great time for students to showcase their knowledge. But this next one is a don't. Don't assign your students a big project. At this point in the school year, assigning a large project for them to complete is not a good idea. Oftentimes with a big project, students are expected to manage their own time, to focus on this project, to follow the rubric and complete the tasks at hand. At this point in the school year, it never quite works out. So I don't suggest assigning a big project. Projects are great for first, second, or third quarter, but in the end, it's a no-no. A do is definitely to keep teaching. Do keep going through your curriculum or your scope and sequence that's been given to you by your district. Do keep teaching. Dive into those chapters that you never get to. Do prepare your students for the next year. Don't stop teaching the curriculum just because we're at the end of the year. You can do this. The end of the school year is the perfect time for you to try some new teaching strategies, which leads me to my last point. Do try something new. These students know you. You know their behaviors. So it's a great time to test out close reading, cooperative learning, small groups. It's a great time for you to try some effective teaching strategies that you're considering using for the next year. When you try these things out on the students that you're so familiar with, you're really able to fine-tune them and get them ready for a new group of students. Do try some new teaching strategies. It will definitely help you to prepare for the next year. If you need some ideas on some new teaching strategies, please check out my website, teachingintherealworld.com. Stick with your routine, but try something new, and you'll be ready to go for the next year. The end of the school year is such a fun time. You've been able to see your students grow, and you deserve to have fun with them. And that can happen if you follow my do's and don'ts. Do stick with your normal routine. Do keep grading. Do keep those data folders up to date. Do keep trying out effective teaching strategies. Keep your students on track and keep them comfortable in the routine that you've established. Don't break from your routine. Don't change the layout of your classroom. Don't let students complete a project that will give them way too much idle time. If you follow these realistic do's and don'ts, then you're going to have an amazing end of the school year. If you'd like more tips on teaching and different strategies you can try out, please check out my website, teachingintherealworld.com, or my YouTube channel, Teaching in the Real World. I've got tons of videos, free printable PDFs, and blog posts that can guide you through anything that you need in your real-world classroom. Thanks so much, and happy teaching.